In April 1952, the Bolivian Worker Center, the COB, was born out of genuine bloody struggle. They armed the militias, nationalized the mines, and fought for a working class that had been transitionally exploited by a feudal elite. Today, the landscape of their struggle looks like this. The barricades are no longer built to topple oligarchs. They are built to paralyze the nation's highways, stranding thousands of citizens and choking the supply of basic goods. Over the last 2 decades, the COB has mutated into a mafia syndicale, a parasitic cartel using the national economy as leverage for political survival. We saw the extreme of this tactic in August 2020. At the height of a global pandemic, the COB ordered national blockades to force an election date. Trucks carrying medical oxygen were stranded on the highways, while hospital reserves ran dry. They prioritized a political calendar over the ability of their own citizens to breathe. The union weaponizes public suffering, treating every Bolivian citizen as a hostage to extract political ransom. This cartel maintains its power through a specific business model: macroeconomic extortion. Modern blockades function as calculated strikes targeting the country's logistical arteries and export chains. This chart tracks the financial fallout. Every day the COB shuts down transit routes, the productive sector loses $100 million. Supply chains snap and exports rot. Over 3 years, this daily hemorrhage compounds into $5 billion of unrecoverable losses. This deliberate destruction of capital sends a clear signal to the rest of the world. Foreign direct investment vanishes because no company will risk their money in a country where a union boss can unilaterally decide if their trucks are allowed to move. The economic devastation is a calculated fee extracted from the entire Bolivian economy, designed to force the government to yield to union demands. Inside the legislature, the COB enforces a different brand of extortion, demanding artificial minimum wage hikes and a 31% social benefit tax on every formal hire. For the massive population of micro and small business owners in Bolivia, these non-negotiable costs make legally hiring an employee a mathematical impossibility. A shielded circle of just 15% of workers, mostly state mining, actually receive these benefits. The remaining 85% is forced into a precarious, informal economy. For youth, it's worse. 96.2% work off the books, with zero protection and no path to a pension. These union mandates operate as a protection racket. They strip stability and legal coverage from the next generation of workers to insulate the core leadership. Tracking the money leads directly to the syndicate leadership. Every single year, the union leadership quietly collects nearly $18.7 million through mandatory payroll deductions. They manage this massive pool of cash with zero public audits and zero accountability to the people paying it. The government secures loyalty through political bribery, handing over 79 state vehicles, luxury headquarters, and travel stipends, allowing union bosses to collect salaries without working. The leadership has evolved into a highly lucrative elite business class. They negotiate from comfortable offices, disconnected from the daily poverty of the informal workers they claim to represent. The COB has traded the blood and sweat of the Bolivian working class for state-funded luxury, complete financial opacity, and absolute political impunity. This syndicate's power has created what economists call the Estado Trunca, a bottleneck state. It is an institution that actively fights against its own modernization. They fiercely defend state-owned enterprises that bleed public money year after year. They reject efficiency and block private investment because those entities function as their personal employment banks and political strongholds. They march through the streets shouting 20th century anti-imperialist slogans while simultaneously strangling the foreign capital and labor flexibility a modern economy requires to survive. The COB has moved from being the voice of the worker to being the primary architect of Bolivian poverty. As long as this parasitic syndicate dictates the rules, the country cannot move forward. Until the cartel is dismantled, Bolivia will remain a hostage.